Hi guys, good morning. I should say this in the mirror, hold on. Morning. One last time. One time for the one time. It's the last day of Vlogmas. This is so weird. It feels like I'm like accepting an Academy Award or something for everything I'm about to start saying. For today's Vlogmas, I wanted to sit down and kind of do a wrap up of not only Vlogmas, but a wrap up of the year. New Year's is coming in 20 seconds. Like, I just kind of wanted to sit down with you guys, which feels kind of weird. I haven't done just like a sit down video in a minute, and it totally is a different type of pressure. It's like when I vlog, I'm like, oh, like there's movement, there's multiple things that the viewer can focus on. It's not as like staring, it's not so much pressure where you're just like staring at me, if that makes sense. I don't know. Anyway, as you can tell by the title, today I wanted to get into something a little deeper. We all know how hard this year has been. This year will be in history books. This year will never be forgotten. This year, but also just like this full pandemic, like even trickling into 2021. Like, shit's crazy right now. I don't need to go into that. You hear it all the time. But I figured, I mean, I've been doing a lot of self-reflection, as I'm sure you guys have too, and a lot of my peers have as well, and we've kind of come to this conclusion, like, as shitty as it's been, as undeniably shitty as it's been, there's also been really beautiful parts. And I think at the end of the day, like, you really you have to acknowledge that. If you don't acknowledge the beautiful parts, like, you're really just setting yourself up for disappointment and sadness and negativity, and all those emotions are valid and all those feelings are valid, but like, at least for myself, if I get too caught up on harping how shitty something is, I'm like, it doesn't do anything for me. It just makes me more mad and more like sad or whatever. So I don't know if any of that makes sense, but I just wanted to highlight some of the things I'm grateful for. Some of them are going to be very obvious and surface level, but still very meaningful. And then some of them are gonna be lighthearted. I made a little list. To be completely honest, I didn't even complete the list before this video. I was sitting there writing it and I was like, this feels kind of weird. Maybe because I'm in the mode of vlogging and just like not scripting myself. So I think I got to like 11. I just wanted to go through, say the things I'm grateful for, hopefully encourage you guys to do the same, even if you just write them down or say them out loud, say them to a friend. I think it's very powerful to acknowledge the good things. It'll just subconsciously even take a little pressure off you being so hard on a situation. So let's hop into it. Also, excuse my runny nose, I just had some shishito peppers and I got the spicy one. I feel like in every batch there's one just like killer, and I got that. These aren't gonna be in any order. This is kind of just like what my stream of consciousness was, but I really want to start with health, a very big one that we should all be grateful for if you are healthy right now, for your health, for the health around you, my mental health, my physical health, all of the health energy around me. I am so grateful for, because at the end of the day, if you don't have your health here or the rest of it, you're not here, you know? That, I mean, that's the bare minimum to enjoy life, is you gotta be healthy, you know? Like, I'm just very grateful for it. Okay, number 2, my time alone. So as you guys know, at the start of the year, I got out of a relationship. I got out of a about 5-year relationship, and it was the first time I was forced to be alone, not only romantically, but physically too, because I moved into my own place alone. It was the first time I lived alone. I was going through so much internally. Then the pandemic hit and I'm like, I live alone. I don't have anybody to talk to. Like, I was so forced to be with myself in every way, from the government, from my love life, like everything around me was forcing me to be alone. And I was so angry at first. I remember being so just like, why me? I'm sure you guys can relate to that. Like, why me? Why me? Why, like, what did I do to deserve this? I felt like it was a punishment. And to hindsight is fucking 2020, because it was not a punishment. It was not. It was one of the biggest blessings I've ever been granted in this life so far. I'm only 25, I don't know, but it was the best thing in the world for me, and it helped me grow, and it forced me to grow in every department. It it even made me dive into my cooking more because I was like, I need to do something with my time. And as you guys know, like my cooking is my therapy. It's the thing I do when I know I need to kind of like reconnect with myself, my moral, my passion. It got me doing that. It had me obviously spending some quality time with Link, my dog. It had me dive into like my creativity of decor in my house because that was kind of the only thing I could do. So I was like getting inspired that way. You really underestimate your ability to adapt to a shitty situation. I feel like it's a big thing I've learned this year is like, we all went through hellish shit this year. I went through a lot of, let me preface before I get into this, because I feel like I'm gonna keep telling, like, I know we all went through a lot of shit. Like, I want to preface that this is not a pity party. This is not me saying I had it so hard. Like, I'm just telling my story of this year because that's the only story I have to tell. So I don't want you to think like I'm like, oh, poor me, but it's all relative. I mean, yeah, I went through so much this year and I felt like there were so many low points where I was like, I'm never gonna be happy again. I'm never gonna be the same. That was a big one that I was scared of, is that it was not only that I was not only going through something sad, but I was gonna never be the same and I was never gonna be like a lovable Kristen again. Very grateful for my forced time alone. As you guys know, I'm not alone anymore. I live with Alex and Leanna, which is a whole, I mean, we can get into, that could be my next thing I'm grateful for, is my living situation. It's like healed me to be living with my two best friends. Like it's everything. This is what I needed so much. Like I got forced to be alone. I did it. I was like, okay, I did it. It's not for me, like not right now. And I was handed a opportunity to move in with them because their old roommate moved out. Just very grateful for my living situation and grateful for my friends. That's a whole other thing to be grateful for, is I guess we can call that number 4, my friends. The ones you see in the vlogs, which is just Alex and Leanna, all my other friends that I'm obviously in contact with. I have a lot of friends that I don't show to you guys, and that's not me like hiding them or anything. It's just kind of, as much as this is my job, I do tend to like keep a lot of things separate for my sake, so I can still feel like I have maybe control. Maybe it's a control thing. I don't know. I haven't dived into it psychologically, but like I feel like I keep things a little separate so I can still just have a piece of me that isn't being criticized, isn't being judged, nothing's being assumed about it. It's really special to me. So I'm if any of them are watching, you know who you are. I'm grateful for each and every one of you that have literally kept me afloat this year. Thank God for FaceTime. Okay, number 5. My job. I don't think I could ever say enough words to express my gratitude for my job. I am so happy. I am so fulfilled. I feel like this year I broke into like exactly what I want to do with this, with you guys, with this, like with my journey as far as like my career. I've never really been one that had like crazy 5-year goal, I'm gonna stick to it. Actually, correction, I did have that in college and I made that goal. I like achieved that goal at like 21. And I remember sitting back and being like, now what? You know, like now what? I set up this timeline for me and these expectations that I met, but then I felt like I kind of capped myself in a way. I guess the moral of that is like, it's okay to dream, but don't stop dreaming. I stopped dreaming. I like set a goal and then I made it and I was like, oh shit, I thought this was gonna take way longer. I didn't dream any further than that, so don't stop dreaming. But that sounds so fucking corny. Very grateful for my job, for the freedom to take my life and take the things I learn every day and help other people, especially within my podcast. I feel like that's a very big thing I'm grateful for this year. As you guys know, that was my big project this year that dropped, and I guess in a few days, what is it, 9 days, January 4th, we have video coming out. So like so much is happening for my podcast, and that's just like, that project specifically fulfills me so much because I mean, it's called Advice. Like I get to just help people and like tell my story to help other people, and then on Thursdays you guys tell us your stories, and I learn so much on Thursday episodes from your guys' stuff. Like I'm so glad that I can call that my job, and it's such a like special thing to me. This is the best thing in the world. With that, I'm also very grateful for my steady income. within, like, throughout this pandemic. I mean, I personally know so many people who lost their job, and I'm very grateful to say I didn't lose my job. And you can probably even see my body language right now. I'm kind of like cringing at myself. I almost feel bad for saying that, but I think it's just as shitty to not acknowledge your privilege and your blessings than it is to like brag about it in a way. I don't know. So I do fully want to acknowledge my gratitude for that. Number 6. Ooh, this one chokes me up. I'm very grateful for my sister. What's happening? Why is it watering? Okay, spit it out. You haven't even said anything. This year in September, we lost our grandma, and I was already very close to my sister, but I feel like going through that like suctioned us together even more. Like, she's not my twin, but I imagine this is what a twin bond feels like. Not only did we go through that together, but even before that, when I was going through everything else, when I was living alone, I was miserable and going through so many things, like the amount of nights I'd call her in the middle of the night and just like bawl my eyes out until you're about to throw up. You know that feeling where you're just so hysterical that you genuinely have to stand over the toilet because you're going to throw up? Those nights were spent with her on the phone, and I don't know how I would have navigated that without her. I can't even, I feel like I can't even fully explain this, like, with the amount of amazing words it deserves. She's completely saved me in so many ways. Just trust me. I'm fucking grateful for it. I don't know why. I just can't formulate the words right now. I'm just choking me up too much, and I don't want this to be like a crying video. Number 7, hospitals. All the workers in the hospitals, all those essential medical workers, for so many reasons, I'm grateful for everything they're doing for humanity right now. Personally, I'm grateful for what they have done for my family this year. My grandma was in the hospital a few times before she passed, and I'm just grateful she even had a fucking hospital to go to. That was like, that seems so simple, but I feel like I still need to express that I'm grateful she was even able to go to the hospital. My mom also was in the hospital in November, I believe, for reasons I'm not gonna share just because I don't want to. But she's okay. She was in the hospital and she had amazing care for the time she was in there, and she's, you know, they just helped her so much. I feel like that sounds so vague because I'm not telling you guys why she's in the hospital, but very grateful for that. My nephew is also in the hospital sometimes because he has a heart condition, and I'm very grateful for that. Like, it's, I don't know, I had a thought this year where I was like, damn, like, the hospitals do be doing that. That sounds so stupid, but like, guys, we have hospitals. It's really fucking amazing. I feel like some of these sound so stupid. Number 8, therapy. I am very grateful for therapy. I started therapy in April. That was the first time ever in my life that I started therapy. I've known I needed to go to therapy forever. My sister has gone to therapy forever, and she's always told me, like, you need to go into it, you need to do it. And I was so resilient to starting for so many years because I knew so much was gonna come out. So much that I've pent up because this is a whole other video in itself, but such a big coping mechanism of mine that I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate to because it's very common, is I just forget things. Like, my brain literally just blocks things out within days. It's scary sometimes. I get frustrated, and I like frustrated cry about it when, like, you know, Alex will be like, oh my god, do you remember blah blah blah, and it's a good memory. That specific memory is good, but the time in which it happened was a bad time for me, so I don't remember anything in that whole time. And I get so frustrated because, like, I want to like share that nostalgia with her when she's like, oh my god, remember in high school, da da da. I'm like, no, I don't fucking remember, because like my brain blocks things out. I was so scared to start therapy for literally like 10 years because I just knew so much was going to come up, especially about my childhood stuff that I've never even opened up about with you guys, but I'm sure you've kind of heard me say it, especially in the podcast. And I wasn't wrong. Shit did come up, but I was ready for it. And I think if you are out there and you're about to start therapy, or you're thinking about it, or you're like me and you're like, hell no, I never will, at least just take what I'm saying with a grain of salt and try and still be a little open to it. Try not to fully shut yourself off to it, because one of the most valuable things you will ever invest back into yourself. It is expensive, but it's like, it's me. It's my livelihood. It's my health. It's everything. Like, take my money. You know what I mean? It's not just like, oh, I have this bill for like the subscription box that like I don't need. Like, no. It's your fucking health. It's everything. So grateful for therapy. That shit helps. Number 9, my team. Now it sounds like I'm accepting an Academy Award. I'm so grateful for my whole team, my manager, both my managers, everybody working on my podcast. Like, they are everything. They make everything happen. And I would feel crazy to not express gratitude for them, especially this year. Like, there's so many times where I'm like, oh, so discouraged, talking to Victoria, my manager, and she's like, I know you're discouraged right now, but there's still really amazing things coming. Like, she's always there to kind of like bring out the good side, because I get so discouraged and I'm like, Victoria, I don't want to do anything, like just delete everything. And she's just like, did you eat some food? Are you hangry? Like, bitch, you're fine. And I'm very grateful for that. Oh, number 10. Again, these are in no order, so I'm kind of gonna jump back to number 2. Number 10, I wrote my pain. And that kind of goes with number 2, where I said I was grateful for my alone time. I'm grateful for the pain I had in that alone time. I also want to say, I feel like a lot of you watching are probably just thinking I'm talking about the breakup. I'm not just like, I have gone through more pain than just that. That definitely was painful. I don't know if it's like a pride thing, but I don't want anybody thinking that's exclusively what I'm talking about, because I think my other pain deserves to be acknowledged too, and it's not just that. But I've gone through so much more on top of that, which made it hurt even more. But I'm grateful for all of it. I finally feel like I'm at what feels like the end of that tunnel, starting a new tunnel. But that old tunnel, I'm able to be like, wow, like all of that was so worth it, so necessary. And that sounds so cliche, but if you are going through anything, breakup, family loss, trust that like it's happening for a reason. That sounds so cliche, because I remember people telling me that in my hardest times, and I'm like, what do you mean? Like, why is it happening for a reason? Like, why would this happen to me? Why would something so unfortunate happen to me? However you want to look at it, looking at it that way helps me. It happens for a reason. That helps me kind of be at peace with it, because I feel like I have like a control thing sometimes where if I don't understand why something's affecting me, it makes me feel so out of control of my thoughts and like my surroundings, and I'm like, what's happening? Like, it makes me feel out of touch. So I've learned in therapy that like I can't control everything. Who would have thought? And that's something that helps me reel in my control, is just accepting and trusting the process and trusting yourself and your ability and your strength to get through it. It really helped just like relax my shoulders in so many cases and just be like, oh, okay. Number 11, I talked about this one too. My cooking. I'm so grateful for cooking. Is that a weird thing to be grateful for? I'm so grateful for my kitchen. I'm so grateful I have a fucking kitchen to cook in. So grateful for every like grocery store that's literally walking distance that I can go get like fresh ingredients and cook things, and for my friends and try new recipes. And I'm just so grateful for that. I'm grateful for my ability to cook. I always used to think like, I have no talent. What is my talent in this life? I think it's cooking. Those were all I had written down. I feel like I could just go on, and I feel like there's one I'm really fucking missing right now that I'm gonna feel like such an asshole for missing. I also think I got the numbers mixed up. Like, when I start every sentence and I'm saying the number, I feel like I missed a number. Because now that I'm looking at my list, I never said number 3 because I wrote down link, but I feel like I said number 3 with something else. Fuck the number thing, man. And I also feel like within all the things I said, so many other components of each of those topics fall into the like little things I'm grateful for in between the cracks. But I did also want to make this video to not only put them out into the universe, but hopefully inspire you guys to, I mean, shit, if you want to make a video or just write, like I said, write them down, tell them to a friend. Just at the end of every ugly, I think it's so important to at least try and reflect some gratitude, because then I think the universe is like, they learned something. Okay, good. But yeah, I hope you guys had an amazing holiday. I know this holiday season was weird. I'm very grateful I was able to see some family. Try and express your gratitude. Try before the new year, something I like to do is write down all the things that don't serve me anymore, all the things I want to release, whether it's emotions I have towards myself, emotions I have towards other situations, habits of mine that I like to release, anything that you feel is negative or unnecessary in your headspace. Write it down and burn it. Just burn it. Burn that shit. At least for me, of burning like something physical is like everything. I'm blabbering. I feel like I'm in like a kind of emotional headspace now, so I'm kind of locking up. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And lastly, I am so fucking grateful for you guys. Every single one of you. You supporting me. Thanks. The fuck? Like, that's so, like, I'm just out here living and you're supporting me. Like, that makes me feel really happy. And I feel like so many times I get very, I get down on my self-worth. I'm like, but why are they even supporting me? Like, I'm not special. Because I don't feel like I'm this special thing. And I don't know if that's like a self-confidence thing or what, but I don't think I'm this special thing. I just grateful for it in the meantime. And I'm happy that everything I do can help somebody. I try to put that behind every piece of my work and every intention of my work. So thank you guys for supporting me. I feel like within this past year, my comments and my feedback has been positive, uplifting, and I feel like you guys finally understand me for the first time, especially with the podcast, that like kind of long form content where I'm just rambling and saying my feelings and crying and talking to somebody, Alex, who brings out the most vulnerable side of me that I love. I love you guys so much. I won't see you in 24 hours, but I'll see you January 4th. Get ready for the podcast video form. I'm so proud of it. I hope you guys love it so much. I miss you already. I love you.